con los golpes de Julio César, que castiga la zona blanda para apela sus piernas Héctor Camacho, pero tiene ya la cara estupefacta con los golpes de Julio César, que castiga la zona blanda para apela sus piernas Héctor Camacho, pero tiene ya la cara.
Yo, what's good, YouTube? What's good? It's Stormybman, and I am back. Welcome to my video breakdown on Joshua versus Pulev, coming up this Saturday, December, what is it, the 12th, the 11th. I got my dates all mixed up, but this coming Saturday. You know, Stormy has been having something going on, man. I was trying to start this stream up, and computer was acting up, man. It was trying to upload a different stream and everything, and I'm like, what the devil's going on here? But nonetheless, I'm here, you're here, and we can talk about it a little bit. So, you know, I'm glad to be here, glad to be talking to you guys out there, and hit that like button as you come in. And I figured I would do a live stream on this one instead of doing a video breakdown, because to be perfectly honest, I'm just not feeling Anthony Joshua like that. So I hope that we all can talk about this together. And, you know, it'd be a thing where we can just have a discussion about it a little bit, you know, take a little time, talk about it, give your picks and pans, and, you know, I give you my thoughts on it as well. So it'll be a little bit of an exchange between myself and you guys, the live audience, man. And that's what we'll do. But I had to kind of bring everything into its perspective with seeing Dillian White, you know, get put on his can. You know, I told you as much as I can, I'll try to show that to you guys. It's like, hey man, I think that's the clip of the year. You know what I mean? Seeing that guy go down, and then maybe also your boy Leo Santa Cruz. So it is what it is. I want to welcome everybody that's out there. We got Woke out there. The Underrated Darkness is out there. He says salute. Drew Titan family, what's going on? Silverstream. And he says what's good. And big homie Coop is out there. He's saluting. Andre is laughing. And he says salute King, salute to you, man. Drew says, Stormy B, man, you can leave that Dillian smash on loop. Hey, it'll pop back up before this is over. You can believe that, man. I know, right? That's like, hey, man, that's therapy. That's good therapy. It's like you're not feeling well or whatever, and Stormy B, man, just hit that Dillian White loop for you, man, and make you feel a whole lot better. You know what I mean? So it's like, hey, I agree with you, man. It's like, you know, you can never get enough. You know, like Brass Construction used to say, you know, can't get enough of that funky stuff. There you go right there. Dillian. And look at his legs, man, how stiff they are. It was like he was dead. You know, he was, rigor mortis has set in before he hit the canvas. You know, if Alexander Povetkin don't ever do anything else in life, man, this right here is something to be watched over and over again, as Drew says, on loop. Andre says, AJ better watch this fool, Pulev. I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting. Let's see what else we got out here. Sheldon Holmes and Derek Bailey out there. He says, OG in chat, what up, though? What's up with you, man? Big homie Cool says, Stormy B, man, you think AJ going to have a 50-foot ring again? He might, man. Listen, he found something in that fight with that rematch with Andy Ruiz Jr., man. He found that, you know, he can play keep away. You understand? And he dropped all of that excess muscle, and he could move a little better. So all he had to do was stay out of harm's way. But it's a little bit different when you're fighting somebody who ain't carrying around an extra 200 pounds. You know what I mean? Because that boy, I mean, you know, Andy Ruiz in that rematch, man, he looked like a busted can of biscuits, man. You know what I mean? Retros for Life is out there. He says, Stormy B, salute. Enjoy your content, man. Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. Andre says, I got AJ getting him out of there in 6 rounds. He said, facts, that uppercut was something special. Charles Granger says, salute to everyone. Salute to you. And Sheldon says, that's the same shit Tank hit Leo with. Yeah, man. And you know, when you hit somebody like that, hey, that's the result right there. Suckers go to sleep, man. Underrated Darkness says, great to be here. Great to have you here, man. I'm glad to see you guys out there. Yeah, you know, this fight right here, man, I am not in the least inspired, excited, or whatever, because here you have a guy in Anthony Joshua who has seemingly at every turn squandered the opportunity to really be a high-profile champion, and has elected to make himself, put a wedge between himself and the boxing public. You know, whether it's he making statements that ruffled the feathers of non-blacks, you know, or whether he's made statements in the sport that it has made people despise him, you know, when people only wanted to see fights, quality fights. And let's not even trek down the path of the Deontay Wilder circumstance that should have presented itself about 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. And a lot of people forget that AJ was, I believe he was ranked as high as number 3 or 4 in the WBC before he jumped ship and found out that he could go over there and fight for that belt for Prince Charles Martin, you know. And he left the WBC sanctioning body. But he would have been in line for a shot with Wilder, and I guess he just thought he saw a lighter path. So, you know, that tells you something right there. We just saw this past weekend, Sean Porter says that, you know, his ranking in the WBO is as number 1, and his ranking in the WBC is a little higher, whatever, than being as low as a guy would be after losing a championship fight. So, you know, Sean just wants a chance to get back at the title, and he should, because he's a competitive man. But when you look at guys like AJ and how they move, man, you just kind of question, like, what is the real desire here? What do you really want to accomplish, huh? And as far as fighting Pulev, you know, Pulev is a guy who has been a perennial contender, but he hasn't done very much as of late. You know, he's a very inactive guy. I mean, his last fight was November on Rydell Booker, and that was in Fresno. He got a unanimous decision there. But before that, he was in March of 2019 against a guy named Bogdan Dinu, and he got a KO in that victory. Prior to that, it goes back to, you know, 2018, October of 2018, when he took on Hughie Fury. And that fight, he got a unanimous decision, but it was a lackluster effort. And then from there, it goes back. His fights even got spaced out even more, you know, 2017, 2016, 2015, you know. So Kubrat has not really looked to be active. I know that he tried to say at one point that he, you know, was, you know, injured or something like that. But you have to, you know, you have to put yourself out there. If you want to challenge for the world title, man, you need to be a little bit more active. You need to do some things to put yourself in a position to make people say, okay, yeah, this guy, he wants to do something and wants to make himself available. And that's not necessarily what he's done, you know. So I don't know, man. I really don't know. Kubrat is not the guy that you could hang your hopes on. But we'll find out if he really wants to be a champion when he faces Joshua this Saturday. I don't know. The 13th. This is the kind of fight that you just don't know. AJ is not the most courageous fighter out there. He's not the most confident fighter out there. And as a champion, a fight like this, Kubrat has the ever puncher's chance. But does he have the motivation? You know, is this just a solid payday because he's fighting for the unified championship, and it's probably going to be his biggest payday since his fight against Vladimir Klitschko, where he was stopped. You know, when he fought Klitschko, you do have to question these things. When Klitschko stopped him, that was all the way back in 2014. And, you know, that's his only loss, but he hasn't torn up the division or anything. He's 6'4". He has a 79.5-inch reach from Bulgaria, and he looks like a crude old fighter from the old days. You know, that the guys had the square jaw and sunken eyes and flat face and stuff like that. But in his, 29 fights, he's only got 14 KOs. So it's not like he's really banging people out of there. I've heard it said he's got a decent jab. But sometimes when you look at the jab that he's using and whatnot, you have to consider who he's going up against. In fights against like the likes of Samuel Peter and those guys, Derek Chisora, he was very lackluster. Didn't have a great deal of, excitement there. So you kind of have to wonder, really, what's up with that. We got Bernard Burton out there. He says, what's up, Stormybman in chat? Lawrence Williams, the resident stat man, says, what's good? What's good with you, Lawrence? And he says, some of Pulev activity came from fighters ducking. White, Miller, and Brazil all turned down the IBF final eliminator. That's how Huey got it. Well, you know what? And I agree with that, L-Dub, because and we're seeing that across the sport, right? A lot of guys are just kind of sitting, buying their time, trying to wait and see what can open up for them. And they, that might, I don't know if I want that one. Oh, maybe some. Oh, we'll wait and see. I wish there were a way to really light a fire under these gentlemen, because we really need the division to shake the fleas out. You understand? They just buzzing around, sucking blood here and there, but they ain't trying to really bite. They're just surviving and thriving. And we need less of that. We need more of a competitive thing. And I've said it so many times, man. If you fight someone who's on your level or at your level and you lose, so what? You know what I mean? Go back to the gym, brush up on some things, get back on the horse, man. These men, they have the heart of a mustard seed out here, man, in today's boxing. And it's atrocious just thinking about it. And like I said, it's across the board. It's not just the heavyweights. You can go all the way down through featherweight. And these guys just don't want to get in the ring with anyone that may be of competition for them or a threat to a record that they're trying to hold fast to as minimum losses as possible. Some of the best fighters that we've had in the sport of boxing have had double figure losses. You know what I mean? And that's not like post-career after they've, fallen on the downside. It's just that some guys have had, big dust-ups. We just saw Danny Jacobs fight Gabe Rosado, and Gabe has double-figure losses. But did Gabe look like a guy with double-figure losses in there with Danny? No, he looked as equal or equivalent as Danny, didn't he? Some people even thought that Gabe should have gotten that decision. So when you look at these guys and you consider what they have to offer, it's like, throw the damn records out the window, man. Because, yeah, you see a lot of men who have been matched perfectly against showcased opponents that will make them look their best. But what about when you start stepping in there with that guy who has done the same? And now you all are there to test one another. Somebody is going to prevail. Sometimes it'll even be a draw still. But we need to see more. And there's just not enough happening right now at this time. And we just need it, man. We just need it. We got Renee Box Young has joined us. He says, Stormy OG, what's good with you, Renee? Good to see you. Derek Bailey is saluting people out here. And what else we got here? Renee says, man, good point on Gabe. True, OG. Yeah, a fighter like Gabe, somebody looks at his record and be like, this guy. And I'm telling you, Danny went into that fight. They were thinking in his camp, we just got to bust him up and open some cuts up around his eyes, and we'll get a TKO here. And Danny even, you remember you watched that fight, they showed him throwing this looping overhand right where he kind of turned it down. He brought it down from the top of Gabe's head. He was trying to cut the guy. And he didn't cut. Gabe said he ain't cut in a couple of years, and it's like he's been solid. You know what I mean? In those losses he's had against quality opposition, he has fared very well. And he has learned to take care of himself and not just go wading in, and trading punch for punch. Which brings us back to this fight when we're talking about Kubrat and Joshua. The interesting thing about Joshua is this. I won't say that Joshua has a suspect chin. He's a big man. Big men typically aren't used to people reaching their chin because usually they're fighting most guys that are shorter than them and things like that, and reach plays an advantage for them where they don't necessarily have to be worried about taking a lot of flush shots and power shots until they're fighting someone who's equivalent, or if they've, in the instance like what Joshua did against Ruiz in the first fight, get caught being in too close and not allowing himself a proper distance, and a guy with faster, quicker hands get to him. And when Ruiz Jr. opened up on him, Joshua was surprised about that. First of all, the hand speed. Second of all, the pop that he had on his punches. But that showed immaturity on Joshua's behalf because he had hurt Andy. And if he had just gone about his work in a workmanlike fashion, he possibly could have run Andy into something. But no, he jumped in there thinking, I'm a big guy, I'm going to dominate him, I'm going to take him out. And he got caught because Andy has heart. And he should have known that from seeing Andy fight the other guy that was really big like Joshua. You know, Andy fought the big, I think it's a Ukrainian guy or something like that. That guy was 6'6" or something like that. And Andy broke him down. And that's the kind of fighter that he is. You know, he will mix it up. And see, Joshua just made a gross miscalculation there. Because that you can't just judge a guy on his physical look. You know, because what was that? Alexander Dimitrenko. That was the guy that Ruiz fought in April of 2019. And he stopped the guy. He beat that guy, and that guy was big like Joshua. So that should have been like a little bit of a telltale sign for them, and they weren't looking at that as they should have. And Joshua paid the price for that. But yeah, so you know, as we talk about this fight, Joshua, who's 6'6" and has an 82-inch reach, but he's a little bit stiff with that when he's carrying that extra musculature on his body. So will he remain slimmed down? He may need that against Pulev, because especially if he's going to try to incorporate that new wrinkle that he had added to himself and his fight game when he fought Ruiz in the rematch. The lateral movement, being on his toes, flipping the jab, trying to set punches up properly. That's fine if you want to do that, but you have to be in condition. And when a guy can chase you down or at least fight back, which Ruiz was not able to do due to being woefully out of shape in their rematch, that proves a setback for the opponent. But in this instance, Kubrat might be motivated. He might feel like, and there's something like this. If he hits Joshua with something and hurts him, then he can get courageous and start looking to step it up against Joshua. But at the age of 39, you have to really question what type of shape he's going to be in. Joshua is 31 himself. You know, it seemed like yesterday when he got that first title from Prince Charles Martin, man. I think Joshua, when he won that title, was, what was he, 24, 25, something like that? So he's had, or maybe 25 or 26, but he's had that title all this time, and those other titles that have been piled on. But what has he really accomplished? Has he really gotten better? And that's the question that you have to think about it, because Joshua definitely is not as good as Klitschko was when Kubrat fought Klitschko years ago. He's not at that level. He's already suffered a loss, and that was Kubrat's last loss. So experience could come into play here. There's something that could happen, but Joshua should be favored. Let's not get it twisted. He should definitely be favored. But his KO percentage is 87.5%, and he's only fought 103 rounds. That's not a lot for Joshua. That means he's been knocking out a lot of guys, right? And Kubrat's knockout percentage is only 48%, right? Almost, it's half of what Joshua's is, but he has 203 rounds of boxing. And even with his inactivity, taking on the likes of guys like Hughie Fury, Kevin Johnson, Chisora, Maurice Harris, Klitschko, Tony Thompson, the names that I just ran off there, Dimitrenko, he's fought better guys than Joshua has. Just let's be perfectly honest. He has fought better opponents than Anthony Joshua. And Joshua, as I've stated, has not really gotten better. We haven't seen progression in his fights. All of his fights have gone a certain kind of way, and with the assistance of referees and things like that, in one fight against Takam, the referee helped stop the fight when Takam looked like he was coming on. In another fight against Joseph Parker, the referee wouldn't let Parker fight on the inside, which was his fight, since he was the shorter guy against Joshua and everything. So it was like, you're getting this assistance here, and even in his rematch against Andy Ruiz, he fought like he was in there with Mike Tyson or something. He was running and, staying away and not looking to engage at all or whatever. And he thought he had really done something when they awarded him a decision against a fat guy who couldn't chase him down. So it's like, hey man, I don't like that. You know what I mean? So let's see who else we got here. Derek Bailey says, I was surprised Gabe didn't get either. I guess didn't get cut either. Yeah. Well, he has said in the post fight, he said he hadn't cut in a long time, couple years. He had learned to, keep himself safe and move his head and things like that. That shows that even with those, dozen losses on his record, even though he's lost to good quality fighters, he's learned some things in there, which is the whole point. If you don't learn, you're going to get your head chopped off. You're getting out there getting busted up and everything. The man has learned to protect himself. And he fought very well against Danny. I would have awarded him a decision against Danny. Big homie Kuhn says, I believe. Yeah, Dimitrenko. And Bruce Goals is out there saluting myself and everybody in the chat. Renee Bakshian says, I think AJ would be slimmer and more elastic in the Pulev fight. We're going to see. Let's see what else. He says, I have more questions over my head about Pulev than AJ. Definitely. Because of the inactivity there, Renee Bakshian. And see, that's why I elected to want to have this as a live stream conversation, because there are so many questions here. I just want to know the motivation of both guys. Is AJ looking to make another step? Like I said, he's already 31 years old. I just remember them talking about him being in his mid-20s, and I'm like, dag, where'd the time go? And who did he fight? It seems like his fights have been so spaced out. He hasn't been as active as he should be, being as young as he was when he acquired those belts. but also the opposition that he should have faced. I mean, it's really, it speaks to, just like we're talking about the guys at welterweight, right, that should be mixing it up. Bud is already going on 34 years old, if he's not already. Earl is 30. Keith Thurman is 33, 32 years old. We just saw Garcia, Danny. He's out there, 30 years old plus. It's like, really? I mean, what are these guys doing? And fighting once a year, actually less than once a year. You're fighting every 18 to 20 months or something. It's like, come on, man. What the devil is going on? And if that's because, okay, you've made enough money where you could just sit back, right, and you don't have to be active, well, why don't you just go retire since you made money like you've wanted to make, and allow young upstarts who are coming up in the sport to go out there and perform and vie for these titles? That's the thing. We don't want guys who are just sitting on belts like Manny Pacquiao. I discussed it last Friday on the Friday Night Chop session. Manny hasn't fought in a year and a half, and nobody has said anything. But you got two of the main guys in the division both calling him out, and he ain't trying to fight either one of them. Come on, man. It's like, are you serious? You kidding me? The man doesn't even want to fight you guys. You could believe if that was Mikey Garcia or maybe even Lipinets or whatever, who had those belts, man, he would have been in there against both of those guys. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what is he doing? See, for the community out here, the first and last investment of interest should be seeing fights be made and guys being active. Get your butt in the ring. You're 20 plus, late 20s, just arrived at 30 years old. Be active, man. This once a year crap, once every 18 months, man, get out of here with that, bro. That's a diva mentality out there when you're performing like that, you know, and it sucks, you know. Renee Boxian says, true, man, and the power the heavyweights bring, anyone can get KO'd. Word Bond says, Joshua don't recover fast. Big Homie Coop, I read that. And let's see what else we got here. Trying to catch up on the chat, because I like to acknowledge you guys out there. Mo Boxing is out there. And he says, salute fam, Stormybman. And he's saluting Bruce Goes and Derek Bailey. The Watcher is out there. What's up with you, Watcher? How you doing, bro? He says Joshua is going to wreck him. He says Kubrat is tough, though, and he's 100% competent. Okay. The right hook of Pulev, that strong left jab. We'll see. Michael Johnson Boxing talking more. What's good with you, bro? He says, Watcher, yo. And Mo Boxing says, this gonna be easy win for AJ. Pulev is forced to fight AJ because of the mandatory. So you're saying they got a gun on Pulev saying, get your caveman butt on in there and fight, huh? Maybe so. Eric R has joined us, and everybody else is saluting each other. Let's see here. Watcher says, watched an interview with Pulev, and he is very relaxed but confident. He is very confident in his ability. Talked about his experience as well. Well, those are things you can't take away from a guy. The intangibles are how much does he desire to be the heavyweight champion of the world. That's the thing. You see all those belts that Joshua like taking the photographs with and yelling and screaming like he's really a boss out there. Let's see him defend those titles against somebody who's gunning for him. You know, Andy Ruiz kind of like struck gold, huh? many people thought that, you know, Big Baby was going to have a real good challenge against AJ, because Big Baby at least would draw the dog out of him. You know what I'm saying? Because Big Baby would have probably exhibited a tougher disposition or whatever. And Andy, who was overlooked, did it with his fist. So Kubrat, he might be looking at it like, you know, after watching the guy lose to Andy Ruiz Jr. and how he fought him in the rematch, Kubrat might say, maybe this kid don't have much heart. Maybe he doesn't want to mix it up. Maybe he doesn't want no problems, as they say. And if he has that type of gumption, I don't know Kubrat. I don't know his personality and know enough about him. I've seen a few of his fights, but I don't know enough about him to make an assessment of how to read that, which is why I welcome you guys in the chat to let's talk about it, because it's something that we can discuss, and you guys can help bring out the keys to what this guy is all about. Let's see. Renee Boxian says, seems like hungry young fighters like Ennis, Virgil, and maybe Delorme are going to get them belts on top soon. Ennis is the most active, though. And Mo Boxing says, AJ fought everyone except Wilder and Fury, and we know that's all politics. There's a couple more guys he could have fought. Let's see. Big Homie Coop says, preach. And Mo Boxing says, don't start, Renee Boxian. Retro boxing and documentaries. My man Blood is out there. He says, Stormy. Man, Blood, dude, you be having them long streams, man. I could take me a nap and wake back up and y'all guys still be cooking over there. I'm like, shoot. But it's good stuff you guys are doing over there, man. You just have to keep them really long streams, maybe like once or twice a month, man, and, you know, keep the other ones down. But you got some good stuff going on. Great conversation amid some real controversial stuff, too. And everybody saluting Blood. Tyrone is out there. What's good with you, Tyrone? He says it would be great for Pulev to KO AJ, but I hope Pulev gets blown away. Guy is a bum in his own right. Tyrone be hard on these guys, boy. Tyrone don't be playing, man. You got to show Tyrone something. If you can't show Tyrone something, you better get out the sport, man, because he going to hold you accountable. He'll tell you straight up, I don't like him. Mo Boxing says, Renee Box Young, Ortiz was never dangerous in my opinion. He's good, but you have to be dangerous in the heavyweight division. The thing, Mo Boxing, about being dangerous in the heavyweight division is this: getting hit on the chin. How many heavyweights out there have a quality chin? There's one guy I know of right now that comes to mind when you talk about a quality chin, and that's Joe Joyce. And the funny thing about it is he hasn't moved up to that level yet for those guys to face him. But if he can take their punches, meaning the top punchers up there at the top of the division, they better watch their position, because Joyce might endure and be able to take these guys off of their positions. You know, that's what Ray Mercer, who he reminds me of, did back in his days of the 90s. Ray Mercer was able to come in there and go hard with guys and take what they had to dish out and everything. The only thing that stopped Ray Mercer was his own desire and lack of conditioning, due to after he started touching some money, he just wouldn't get in the best of shape anymore. And that was only on him. That was only on him. Tyrone says, Mo Boxing, I think he was dangerous around like 2013, 2017. Watcher says, Pulev might believe he can hurt AJ. All that experience counts. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And remember, he was in there with Klitschko when Klitschko was still in the midst of his title reign. AJ fought a Klitschko who had been on the beach for a couple of years and had lost to Fury and was, contemplating if he really wanted to do this again. So it was a whole different kettle of fish, as Kurt Sugar liked to say, when he went in there with AJ. And he was surprised he hit AJ with the right hand that he couldn't throw against Fury. Knocked him down, and it was like, oh, I dropped him. So, hey, Tyrone says, had Ortiz turned pro early, he'd be champion, no problem. Yeah, if they give that Cuban a fight. For some reason, they like to freeze those Cubans out of those title fights, man, for some reason. Mo Boxing says, Renee Box Young, most definitely. And Renee says, the only downfall now is Father Time is ticking on Ortiz now. And that's what they were hoping for, to keep him on the sideline, stall him out, age him out. And that's a shame, because he's a quality fighter. Even Vladimir ducked him. Vladimir ducked him. So, Retro Boxing and Documentaries Blood says, only once a month, moving forward. Salute to the whole panel. What's going on, man? And Watcher says, Tyrone savage. Yes, he is. Watcher, Tyrone is savage. And he says it so casually, like, that dude's he'll just come out and speak his piece. Blood says, Joyce. Mo Boxing says, Joyce head is made of cement. Laugh out loud. And Retros for Life says, Blood had dudes pistol whooping their keyboards today over EJ and Bud. Yeah, man, there is plenty more to talk about in the sport of boxing than just EJ and Bud Crawford, man. Two guys who don't want to face one another, and they out here just messing around, man. It's like they need to both go sit down somewhere. They done made me mad. I think they ducking each other, huh? Yeah. And I ain't going to get into talking about them on this stream, because this stream is about Mr. Pulev and AJ. Lawrence Williams says, Mercer tried to bribe Ferguson during the fight. Laugh out loud. Yeah, because he didn't work hard in the gym, so he gonna sit up there and tell Ferguson in the clinches, hey, man, I give you 100,000 if you go down. They had the feds investigating him and everything, man. That was ridiculous, man. All because the dude didn't want to do no damn exercises in the gym and get in shape. Wasn't that crazy, L-Dub? That was crazy as I don't know what, man. Tyrone says, I still think Ortiz can beat White, Povetkin, and Pulev. And I think he might be more technically sound than Fury. Listen, Tyrone, that is probably one of the best fights at heavyweight when you put Luis Ortiz and Tyson Fury in the ring together. That's a good fight. That's a very good fight. Because I think that you're right in Ortiz's ability to box and deal with Tyson Fury. With his strong amateur background and everything, there's nothing that Fury could do that would catch him by surprise. He would really know how to handle Fury. Plus, he would know that Fury is not the most physical guy. Even when Fury tries to be physical, he's kind of very sloppy at doing it, and Luis Ortiz can handle that. DOG 215 is out there, says, salute Stormy B, man. What's good with you, man? Ain't seen you in a minute. DOG 215, glad you're here. Tyrone says, Fury said in 2015 that Ortiz was a no reward fight. You know what, man? That's just, double speak for he'll give me problems. And you know that, Tyrone. I don't have to tell you, because you got that figured out already. Bruce Goals is laughing at Lawrence Williams talking about Ferguson and Mercer. And Lawrence is laughing back. Yeah, man, that was funny, man, when Ray Mercer was caught trying to bribe Jesse Ferguson, man. And at that time, Jesse Ferguson was that guy in the heavyweight division. He wasn't quite a trial horse, but he was the guy that was in the division. Like, if you could beat him, you're a real contender. He was a gatekeeper, so to speak. And Ray Mercer had a struggle against him. He originally went out there trying to knock Ferguson out, which Ferguson took a good punch. And he had been a sparring partner to Mike Tyson after losing to Tyson and everything. And and Oliver McCall, those guys, you know, they were all in the gym with each other. So it wasn't like he was, you know, Ray Mercer couldn't do anything to him that he wasn't prepared for. But Ray just wasn't in shape, man, and he was just trying to figure out any kind of way to get Ferguson to go along with the plan. Try to bribe the guy. Go down, bro. Go down. There'll be a bag in the dressing room. Yeah. Lawrence says Mercer blew that bullfight, which he would have had a chance at winning. Absolutely. He says Ferguson got the fight instead and got slipped. Yeah, man. I was so mad at Ray Mercer for that, man. I was like, dude, you just let the whole boxing community down. You let yourself down. You let your family down. Go sit down. You know, it's like, it was crazy, man. He tried to bribe the dude, man. But let's get back to AJ and Pulev, man. This is a fight that, okay, what do you guys, let me ask you guys, what do you guys think about Joshua's jab? What type of jab do you guys think he has? Do you guys think that Joshua has a solid jab? He needs to work at his jab. Is it a jab that he can punish an opponent with, or what? I think the jury is out on his jab, because even when he fought Andy Ruiz in their rematch, you know, he was punching and moving away at the same time, which they try to tell you in the gym to never do. But it ain't like Joshua. You know, he had his truck on reverse when he was in there moving around Andy Ruiz. I'm not impressed with his jab. Now, some people feel that Pulev has a solid jab, but like I said, that's against who? If you're talking about the likes of Hughie Fury and Derek Chisora and guys of that ilk, those guys don't have head movement to save their lives. You know what I mean? And they would run into shots like, you know, when you saw Dubois taking those jabs from Joe Joyce. So that kind of thing, I got a problem. I don't know if Pulev's jab is really as solid as it needs to be against AJ. And will he use it against AJ? You know, once they start exchanging in there or whatever, and he sees that AJ's 82-inch reach, he might kind of like go into a shell. And I hope he doesn't, because once fighters start doing that, that really makes you feel like, oh, here we go. This is going to be boring as hell. These guys are not going to really mix it up or whatever, you know. And that's what Corey Bradley is out there. He says, Ortiz's last fight was fixed. Certainly looked like it, didn't it? Bruce Gold says, didn't Tyson try to push nose into his brain at Lawrence Williams? That's what Tyson said in the post-fight after Jesse Ferguson, when he hit him with his famous right to the body followed by a right uppercut, and Ferguson went to the canvas. Excuse me. In the post-fight, Mike said, I was trying to drive his nose into his brain. And when he said stuff like that recently, Mike said that a lot of his ads and sponsors left him after that, when he said stuff like that, because they didn't feel like Mike was, you know, the kind of wholesome champion that their advertisings would like to see his face on. Yeah, they used any excuse to get the guy out of there from using him as a endorser, for endorsements. Lawrence says, it's decent. AJ, he's better at hooking off the jab than the actual jab itself. Yeah, see, that's what I'm getting at, Lawrence Williams, because, Joe Joyce showed the importance of a jab. Even if nothing else is landing and you could throw it with accuracy and you can throw it from a continuous standpoint where you're constantly challenging the guy to adjust to that, that's home cooking there. And if Pulev's jab is as good as some people think it is, then that's what he should do. That's what he should do. He should be throwing the jab, and not necessarily at AJ's face, but in his chest. Jab him in the chest, man, right in the solar plexus, in the chest. Disrupt his breathing, disrupt his timing. Every time AJ think he want a jab, Pulev should be throwing three or four of them. You understand? But I just don't know if this guy is going to do that. This is the kind of fight, like, one guy will slip into a victory. That's AJ. Because I could see Pulev making some kind of goofy mistake and AJ capitalize on it and that be it. Or AJ get hit and don't respond to it well and get in trouble or something like that. It's like, this is not the kind of fight that you could solidly just hang your hat on a guy, because the jury is just out on both of these men. That's why I said, we should talk about it, because it's like, even in my breakdown video, I was like, man, I don't know. I don't know. Retros for Life says his jab is mediocre, which is a shame, as much work as he puts in the gym. Doesn't he do a lot of weight training and stuff in the gym? How much actual boxing technique and everything does he do? Because remember that video that was out for him a couple of months ago of hitting those pads, and he was just throwing those wild ass shots, hooks and uppercuts and stuff wide open. And it's like, you shouldn't do those kind of things, even in jest or practicing or whatever, because it'll become something that you do in a real fight from muscle memory. And that's how you can get knocked, out. So, let's see. Lawrence Williams says, most say Pulev jab is good because that's his only weapon. Yeah. Sometimes when you have a good punch, that's a jab. That's all you need if you really know your way around the ring. Watcher says, damn, Stormy, you made me yawn. Yeah, man, Stormy's getting a little tired. I'm old, man. It's like, got a birthday coming up, man. It's like, Stormy is feeling it, bro. Silver Strill says, AJ versus Pulev fight week. Yeah, man, where you been? We've been talking about it for like an hour. It's like fight week. Put them drugs down. Lawrence Williams says Pulev is not a big puncher. Yeah, and he got the kind of face that one would love to punch. Mo Boxing says, once Pulev is hurt even a little bit, it's game over. Yeah, he's not the most sturdy stake in the soil. Let's just put it like that. And I've seen that. Once Klitschko got through to him, he fell apart like, a bowl in a china shop. It was a shame. A shame. But yeah, man, I'm pissed off that my stream started a half hour later than I wanted it to, because I wanted to start at 8:05 and it started uploading another video that I was going to do for tomorrow's Tuesday tussle, and I apologize for that if anybody was on there waiting for me to go live, because that wasn't supposed to be what was coming live. It was supposed to be this, talking about Joshua versus Pulev. But I think at the end of the day, Anthony Joshua will pull this fight out, because Pulev hasn't shown us anything. He hasn't been active enough to be out there to throw his hat in the arena or whatever. If he wins, Pulev, it is an upset. It's definitely an upset. But Joshua should have enough to turn back his challenge and just move forward for whatever's next. I wish that Joshua would give Luis Ortiz a shot. I know it ain't going to happen or whatever, but I'm just saying, I would like to see someone else give Luis Ortiz a shot. The man deserves it. He's been around the division for over 10 years, and it's like, it's a shame that men are not stepping up to the challenge, you know, right now. LEMC says, can he beat Joshua? I think that's a no. Watcher says, I think whoever lands the first power punch, Lillian White will feel it from his couch. And Word Bond says, AJ has holes in his game, big time. He says, it will be good to see who's next to beat AJ. Typically, the way stuff like that goes is this, Word Bond. The person that'll defeat AJ again is usually the guy you wouldn't expect. Affect his punch resistance, because let's face it, you know, being blown up with whatever he's blown up with, those muscles and everything, that may give him more confidence. You see what I'm saying? And if he drops that, will he be as confident? It remains to be seen. Let's see. LEMC says Pulev would step aside and take a loss money. Yeah, possible. Sylvester says Andy Ruiz. And Mo Boxer says, I'm a big AJ fan. Hope he knocks out Pulev early. I want some rounds out of it myself. Only because both guys haven't been around in the ring. That's all. It's not like I want AJ to lose or whatever. I just want to see a good scrape, and as many rounds as it takes to get there. I was very pleased with the Joe Joyce Danny Dubois fight, because I enjoyed what we were witnessing there. Dubois falling apart and Joyce taking him apart. It's, mechanic shop 1000, I loved it. And Ajong Rual says, wait, you don't think Ortiz could beat AJ? I didn't say that. I didn't say that at all. Where you get that from? Retros for Life says, AJ started bulking back up for this fight. Oh, did he? Okay, well, maybe that, he'll be huffing and puffing in there, because muscles weigh more than fat. And they absorb more blood and all of that too. So it's like, if you start pounding the guy, remember Frank Bruno would always gas out? Dude was built like a Greek god, right? But he get the muscles get the cramping up and stuff. That's what happens. So you have to look at it for what it is, when these guys are out there like that. But yeah, guys, I'm going to get ready to get on off of here. But I thought that I would come live this evening to discuss this rather than just make a 10-minute video on it or something like that, because I can gladly move on to the Shakur Stevenson and the Lil B-Hop, material that I could drop, for the rest of the week, because I really, this fight doesn't excite me. It doesn't. Hopefully there's something exciting that happens, but you guys can leave comments too in the comment section. Let me know what you think about it. But Stormy don't think there'll be very much to go with this, man. Won't be very much. So we'll see what happens, man. But yeah, I'll just leave you guys with a little bit of a gift as we get on up out of here. And Stormy is going to catch you guys tomorrow evening for the Tuesday tussle, 8 p.m. Central. And we're calling that one Cutting Off the Ring. That's the damn video that, you know, the pre thing was trying to launch this evening when I was trying to launch this. So it is what it is. We're going to get on up out of here. Let somebody else occupy your time and your mind. But Stormy just wanted to talk about this fight a little bit. And we catch you guys on the next one. Peace. Everybody stay safe. And hopefully, like I said, this fight is exciting. I don't think it will be. And hopefully they get some rounds and beat the hell out of each other. All right. So peace out, family. Thanks for stopping and tuning in.